Well, welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Liam and I'm a wildlife photographer and videographer here on YouTube, but today I'm introducing a new series that I will have going on for the future of this channel, just simply titled my Home Restoration Series. A few months back in November of 2023, my girlfriend and I purchased a home here in the Maine midcoast, and let's just say it is a fixer-upper. There are endless projects on our home and numerous projects outside that we want to get to. So there's going to be a new series dedicated to home restoration in addition to the two other series that I have going on, which are our wildlife restoration series outside and also my normal wildlife vlogs that maybe some of my current subscribers are very much used to. But the home restoration is going to really encapsulate and document all of the projects that I do in my daily life. Creating wildlife vlogs is awesome and takes a lot of time, but there's so many projects here that I thought I wanted to share it with you all. So that's just a quick background. If you're interested to hear more about those three different series that I have going on, please click up in the corner and I made a dedicated video to explaining those series and kind of what the future direction of this channel will be. But here we are right now in my kitchen, or in my dining room that's off of our kitchen, and we have this wall here that doesn't look very good. The reason that it doesn't look very good is because there used to be a built-in bookshelf on this wall. Now, it was kind of falling apart, and we also didn't really have a need for a bookshelf in our dining room. So close to the kitchen, and storing our books here would just accumulate smells, and we just wanted to avoid that. And also bookshelves that don't have books on them just tend to accumulate junk. So we've already ripped out the bookshelf itself, and we're left with this mess right here. While we were ripping that out, we noticed that there are decades worth of wallpaper. Looks to be some teal paint in there as well. And then there's also some black mold. So I'm gonna make the assumption before I even rip out this wall that we're gonna need to strip it all the way back. So ripping out this plaster, ripping out the wooden slates, and then ripping out whatever insulation is behind there that's probably molded up and wet from decades of water damage. So that's the plan for today. Welcome to the first episode of the Home Restoration Series. Let's get started. So as we've been pulling off this lathe, as I've been told it's called, thanks to my videographer assistant, you can see this hole right here is definitely a mouse trail, but otherwise the insulation is actually in good condition. So I don't think that we're gonna have to rip out the insulation. It doesn't seem to have any spots of mold on it or any indication that there was water damage. So we may have dodged a bullet there. I'm gonna continue to take out this lathe, or as I called the wood slats earlier in the video, and see what it all looks like before we make the final decision, but I think that's the first good sign. All right, with the lathe all ripped out of the wall, the last thing that we have is this baseboard molding that needs to get ripped out, but the easiest way to do it is going to be cut it in the center so I can pry it out from the two ends of the wall. And I seem to have found a squirrel nest that brought leftover corn on the cob to the den, in addition to some acorns and other little nesting material. I thought that was a pretty cool find. And there's not a piece of corn left. Well, that's day one done. As you can see, plaster is out, the lath is out. But the one thing that we did find is that these beams here, these two are even, but these corner beams are one loose and then two uneven. So if we tried to install drywall, it would most likely crack over time. There's ways that you could probably secure this by putting a strapping system in, more or less, but what we've decided and what we're gonna look into for day two will be installing strapping and then using a tongue and groove system rather than drywall. I think that will help the longevity. It's a little bit more rigid. It's gonna be less prone to cracking over the long term, and it might be even easier to install. So it also would go along with the rest of our dining room. So if you wanted to pan over here, you can see that we have the tongue and groove throughout the dining room. The reason that we chose drywall in the first place was just because it's, I think, cheaper than the tongue and groove. I think it's like $6 per panel, and we got about like an 8 or 9 foot wall. It just kind of adds up, but it will help to make the room more cohesive. So that's also a pro in our direction towards tongue and groove. But that's it for now. As we can look out the window here, it's starting to look like it's going to be a beautiful sunset. It's Memorial Day weekend right now, so enough work for the day. We're going to go get some enjoyment of our long weekend. Well, afternoon everyone. This is the start of day two. This morning we went out to the local Home Depot, and got 20 of these 1" by 6" by 8 foot tongue and groove panels. We also got a new nail gun, an angled nail gun. So I'm hoping that this is going to go smoothly. I've never installed anything of this nature before, but judging by yesterday's success, I'm hoping for another successful day too. So Everything right now is in our Three Seasons porch right outside of our dining room, so it'll be easy to access throughout the day. Let's get started. Was just putting up the strapping for our tongue and groove and realized that I didn't buy enough strapping, so I've got to head out to Home Depot again. Also realized that I grabbed the wrong box of nails for the nail gun. We needed angled nails and we got the straight nails. So that's a 25-minute out, 25-minute back drive. So this is probably gonna be where I stop for the day. Let's just cut directly to the following day from this, where we're gonna continue to work on the panels. And that's how you do a jump cut. Okay, so we're all set up on the wall, all of the strapping's set up. Now what I'm doing is taking 6 of these panels and pre-cutting them to 87 inches so I can start to lay out how much space we're gonna need around the window trim. The one thing that we want to avoid is once we get each panel to the window trim to not have an awkward amount that I need to cut to make the extension underneath the window. So that's why I'm doing it all to 87 inches, 6 of them. We can then go lay them against the wall and see what we're working with so we know where to start. Let's get started. Window corner piece has been cut. We've left about 2.5 inches at the top to cover the panel going above the window, and then left enough room to cover the lower half or below the window. So let's see, moment of truth, if this is gonna fit and if my calculations were correct. I think, roughly speaking, that's close enough. We're of course gonna have a window trim going around, so I'm not too worried about imperfect measurements, but that's definitely gonna be good for me. All right, last panel. I don't know if this is gonna fit in there. Oh, it's a fraction, it's probably a 1/2 inch too much. So I'm just gonna take off, I don't know, is this the tongue or is this the groove part? I'm gonna take off that little piece of wood there, and I think we should have plenty of space to fit in. There is gonna be corner trims, so I'm not too worried about how the wood matches up with this side. But all right, let's get this last piece going. Whew. Well, that's going to do it for episode 1 of the home restoration series. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video just as much as I enjoyed making it. This was a little bit of a learning curve with the type of woodworking that I was doing today with tongue and groove, but I think it came out great. I do still have to finish up the window trim and get the baseboard molding in, and of course paint it white to match the rest of our dining room and kitchen. But I'm gonna call it a day for now. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finish up this beer, load up my kayak onto the truck, and go down to the local pond and scope out this one area of the pond where I think there's gonna be some good photograph and video opportunities of red-winged blackbirds, as well as some great blue herons that I've had a real problem trying to capture up here on the northeast. I think they're just a little bit more skittish, more elusive than other regional areas of our country. Anyways, I'm digressing. Thank you for watching this video. If you're not currently subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing to see more home restoration projects as well as my wildlife related vlogs. And if you enjoyed it even more than that, you are able to leave a small monetary tip by hitting that thanks button. Every dollar that you leave goes directly back into making videos here on the channel. But thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again very, very soon. Take care.